Come on, you know I got ya. Yeah, one, break the wall, break down the walls. Foot down with the back to rock and watch you run. Baby, you know you're Judas and I'm your priest. Baby, what I got is not from the least. Bring it to the stage in the rage of the beast. Step in the arena and break the wall down. Step in the arena and break the wall down. You know.
Welcome to the fourth BigFooty BigBrother 2013 podcast. With me is the delightful Mrs. ODN.
Hi, everybody.
Mysterious crime fighter by day, elite podcaster by night, Phantom 13.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And joining us for the first time, it's Ed's worst nightmare, the Fresh Banana.
Hey everybody.
Hi Fresh Banana, glad you could join us. Look, let's go straight into it because it's been more than a week since our last podcast and we've got a bit of material built up here. Since our last podcast, we had the eviction where Rohan was the first to go. He only got 6% of the
Yay.
6% of the save votes.
Good to see that one go.
Yeah, 6% of the save votes, and surprisingly, and I
nearly wet my pants in the seat.
We all want to know
The
that.
whole crowd could not believe who went.
Xavier was the second one to go. He got 10% of the save votes, and he went before Tully, who got 14%.
And Tahan, who got 14 as well, I think.
Yes.
Look, Phantom second choice was Matt, and I reckon he got that horribly wrong. Matt was fairly popular there, and Mrs. Adi and I, we had Tully, and we just missed out there.
Sorry, can I just say something? Sorry, I don't want to keep butting in like this, but I have to tell everybody that the atmosphere at the show last week was absolutely fantastic. I'm telling you, after Rohan went, I had one of the runway, up at the runway, and I'm not kidding you, everybody was yelling out, Tully, Tully.
Oh, yeah,
Everyone was certain Tully was going. The crowd was chanting, Tully, Tully, waiting for it to come, to be evicted. And clearly, when Xavier's name got called, I'm not kidding, everyone had their mouths dropped. It was just unbelievable. No one was seeing that coming.
You could hear that on the television, actually.
Yeah, it was so good being there.
I want to try and get a little bit of redemption for getting Matt so horribly, horribly wrong. If you go back on Big Footy and have a look on Saturday, I did post that I thought Xavier might be the one to go. It's not much of a redeeming grace, but I did my best. But Matt was totally wrong. I could have been more wrong about
that. Fresh Banana, what did you think of the evictions?
I was pretty happy with Rohan going. And I was really surprised that Xavier went. But is it because it's vote to save and not vote to evict? Does that make that much of a difference? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think it does for sure. I think if it was vote to evict, I think Tully's gone. Absolutely. She'd have a lot of people that don't like her, but there's probably a lot of people like me that love watching her just act completely insane on television that would like to see her stay. So I think if it had been vote to evict, Tully would have been gone for sure, and there's no way Xavier would have, I guess, generated enough people to want to evict him to go.
Yeah, look,
I just think people are getting confused, vote to evict, vote to save. For Christ's sake, why change it? Vote to evict worked so well for so many years.
I think the save keeps the entertaining people in the house, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of liking it.
No, but what's keeping the entertaining people in the house is this midweek swap and save that they're doing, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
But that could go. Anybody can.
Yeah, but anybody can, that was just, it was just, a coincidence that Michaela got to save herself last week.
Yeah.
I like the vote to save. I think it's really good. It's a different element, and I think in any reality TV show that you watch, they always need to introduce new things. Otherwise, it's essentially the same thing over and over again, and there's not much you can do. You can change the housemates, but if you're not changing the structure, it just becomes stagnant. So I like the vote to save. I think it's good.
Yeah, I agree. Look, Xavier's eviction made a lot of sense when you think about it. He wasn't eye candy. He wasn't. Yeah. He's not the most outrageous.
No, but he was funny.
He wasn't in people's heads, and he wasn't creating the entertainment. He was funny, But Tim was sucking up all the laughs.
But you've also got to look at how, like, you can understand how Ben has a lot of votes to save, but...
Yay! Save to vote Ben!
But how does Matt... Because Matt is pretty much like, he doesn't really have that much of a personality. So you've got to look at, like, you know, there's a reason why Matt's quite high up there, because, yeah, he, like you said, he is eye candy. And you've got to look at who's actually voting. So a lot of people on BigFooty might be, okay, yeah, we all like Xavier, but who's actually texting, you know?
I think you made the point last week, ODN, that it's about the demographic that you're trying to appeal to. Ben's got a big demographic because of the way that he is, and someone like Xavier probably doesn't have a demographic of people that are really watching that show. We can all relate to him, and we're probably an anomaly for people that watch Big Brother, probably with the exception of Mrs. ODN. Most people that are going to relate to Xavier probably don't watch Big Brother, so not a lot of people are going to vote for him to save. So.
Well, you know Ben, you know how like the whole gay community would be behind Ben, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not only have you got the gay community behind Ben, you've got another community behind Ben. And that's Virgin Airlines. Like, the airlines are all behind him because he used to work there. And he made so many friends there, so many people. If you get onto different forums, like if you get onto, you know, Virgin forums and all that, they're all talking about Ben. Go Ben, let's save Ben. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking there. I'm not joking.
Sure, I thought they had to turn off their mobile phones when they got on board, but anyway.
No, but you know what I mean. Like as far as him working there.
The other one that's voting for Ben is talking about Big Brother at work. I've actually been surprised by the amount of older ladies in our payroll department that are sort of, you know, 50, 60 plus that have gone, it's beautiful, the relationship he has with his mother, I think is adorable. And they vote. I had no idea that these people were watching Big Brother, and all of a sudden a few people heard I was doing a podcast and they said, don't you just love Ben? It's like, you watch Big Brother? Since when?
He's like a cute but ugly puppy, you know, the one with the saggy skin and the big ears.
But he loves his nana.
Oh, anyway.
I love Ben.
So, you know.
I'm devastated he's up again.
Oh, well. So, on that point, we came to the nominations. Tully had the superpower this week.
Big superpower, too.
Big superpower. She got to watch the tally board. So, the funny thing was, nobody knew what the superpower was going to be. They didn't know if she was actually going to be watching them. So nobody voted for her.
Yeah.
So that was didn't even occur to me, and then I realised halfway through. Yeah, I realised that everyone was scared to vote for her because she'd know it. So quite strategic by everybody in the house. And she also got. They divided the housemates into 3 groups, and Tully got to have 2 votes. She got 2 points to vote with after each group had voted, so 6 in total. And at the end of all that, the ones nominated were Michaela with 13 points, Jasmine 10, Tahan 10, Jade 9, the Sugar Sisters 6. I like their new name, by the way. And Matt with 6. Now, Tully wanted to save Jasmine. She wanted to save Matt. She didn't really want to put Tim up or Ed up, and they were the other ones that were close by. And she got it into her head that there's no way that she could have saved Matt, so she just gave Michaela a couple of pointless votes at the end there. If she had worked it out a lot better, she would have found that she could have had Matt in a 4-way or a 3-way tie at least with Tim and the Sugar Sisters, and force Michaela to be the one to choose and get all the hatred. So
that's clearly not her strong suit.
No, wow. So maths or, hang on, you say maths isn't her strong suit, or maths?
No, mathematics is not her strong suit.
I was going to say, after the events of the week, I don't know if math is her strong suit anymore either.
That's true as well.
Yeah. So I mean, and then after that, Jade won the showdown, which has moved to a Thursday for some reason, and obviously the ratings were working great on the Saturdays for Channel 9. So Jade won showdown, and with her newfound, with her powers, she took herself out of nominations and put Ben up.
Can't stand her for that.
Had a massive cry.
What was her reasoning, do you know?
Well,
I know her reasoning.
I'd like you guys to speculate, so go ahead.
No. no. I remember. She looked and she goes, she had this such a fake look on her face. And she looked at the group at the bottom and said, "Oh, so sorry, Ben. My best friends are on the end."
Yeah, that's what she said, yeah.
Oh, please. You know, like, I'm so, just do not like Jade. I'm just totally over her.
I thought Ben acted pretty well. Like, he was quite sincere, and then they showed footage of him afterwards in the diary room, and he was quite, like, perplexed. So I thought he handled it well.
Later on.
Yeah.
At the time, he was fine, but then later on, when he got to sort of talk about it privately, he was dirty about it, which I can't blame him for. I'd be pissed off as well.
Well, Matt was annoyed, wasn't he, last week, remember?
Yeah, look, it's part and parcel of the game, and if you're a fan of reality TV, you'll understand that it's just something that has to happen. And to be frank, if I was in there, I wouldn't take it personally. I'd go, it's something that's got to happen, and whatever. They're probably putting me up because I'm a bit of a threat, or however you want to justify it. But they all do seem to be getting pretty upset over it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was, like, this was maybe a couple of weeks ago, but Heidi nominated Tahan solely for the fact that she swapped her in. But a lot of us went, well, that's quite obvious because it was a draw between you and Tim either way. So, you know, I'm not too sure, where that kind of vendetta comes from.
It's a good gimmick that Big Brother's brought in because it creates tension. It creates conflict. Yeah. People are looking at you saying, I'm going to swap myself out or I'm going to swap somebody out because you have to do it and I'm going to put somebody in. Now, Ben, we don't know what the votes were, so I don't think he had very few nomination points, I think, from memory, but regardless of that, there was no obvious next choice. There was no tie that week, so there wasn't anyone that you could go, well, they were going to be nominated anyway, so I'm going to put them in. So her decision, she can make it based on whatever. And I've got to say, I actually felt a bit bad for her. She has a serious issue with nerves and anxiety, and she gets shaky and uncontrollably emotional when she has to do stuff like that. With the nomination swap, and there was another incident where she did the yes/no thing with Tully. She can't handle her nerves. She was really upset at having to do that.
She did pretty good in the games though, so yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Just
going back to going just quickly before we move on, going back to the eviction and that, and you know how Sonia speaks to every one of them singly and says, oh, hey, so and so, how are you feeling about about to be evicted?
Yep.
I think this is the only thing that I could think of with Jade is why she has nominated Ben. Oh, not nominated, put him up.
Yep.
Is that even when I watched the eviction back last week on television, when Ben came out, the amount of the screaming you could hear from the crowd through the television for Ben.
Yeah.
I think they all realise that Ben's pretty popular.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. That I think that maybe she thinks, well, if I put Ben up, Ben won't go anyway because everybody out there likes Ben.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I could think of is why she would want to put Ben up.
True.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'd probably do the same as well. Yeah.
I would probably be a bit more strategic and go, Ben's got to be up every week and maybe eventually he has a bad week because at the moment he's got to be one of the favourites to win it. So
yeah,
Tim, I reckon Ben and Tim is where my money is, Ben and Tim.
Well, Tim didn't even poll, did he, in the first week? He didn't poll that well that I thought he would, so it'll be interesting to see.
He got 22% of the save vote in the first first round of
but see, can I say 5 of those votes were from me?
5% or 5?
No, just 5 single text votes.
Yeah, that would have
I think you might mean 5%. Mrs. Adi.
But I think my 3 runners is Ben, Tim and Matt.
And just on Jade, if she wanted to be fair about the whole thing, she probably could have put up Caleb or Ed because they're the only ones that hadn't been nominated.
Exactly, she could have put up Ed and would have been revenge.
Yeah.
A couple of big shocks for me out of nominations, obviously Tim and Tully not being nominated, which was pretty surprising. Tully, I think there's an obvious reason. She had the superpower. Everyone was worried she'd know. Another one that was very, very interesting for me, the twins got nominated with 6 points. 4 of those points came from Tahan and 2 of them came from Tully, and it was her third lot of voting. So if Tully didn't have the superpower, they would have only had 4 points, most likely, and probably wouldn't have been nominated.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But can I say, they're actually nice girls, the Sugar Sisters.
Oh
yeah, I don't mind them, but
they're actually nice. Like, they're not... I take back every bad thing I said about them. When was this? Phantom in the first week or something? Or
Yep. Yeah.
I was like, nah, hate them. Nah, nah, I want them gone. But now, I actually think they're really nice girls. I mean,
they're too positive. They are way too positive. It would drive me insane.
Oh, they are way too positive. I've
Never
noticed
ever
that.
complain about anything. You can't deal with it. Everything they have to do is just they laugh about it and think it's great. It's fantastic. I wish I had that sunny disposition all the time, but if I was in their house with them, I would want to strangle them with their own hair extensions.
Oh, indeed. So look, after the original nominations, we had Matt in the house with in the halfway house with 6 girls. That promised a little bit of interest. And Jade was separated from her favourite boys, and that promised to be a little bit awesome too. But the wall came down overnight, and
So before the wall came down, did we see Matt showing a really horrible misogynistic side, or was he just joking around? Because I'm not sure.
There's a couple.
You'd assume that it was a joke, but I wasn't really getting a joking vibe from it.
I'm not sure that I'm willing to give Matt the credit in terms of his intellectual capabilities to think that he could make a satirical joke that clever. I think that he's not that sharp, and I reckon that's just how he really feels. But that's just my opinion. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it didn't look good.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
No, Matt he was showing a bit of a superior attitude and
talking about his girls and how he's going to have to keep them in line and
yeah.
Get massages and
like telling the sisters that like you can't keep the room messy,
Oh yes, that's right, yeah.
But then again, he's in the Defence Force. That sort of that sort of thing would drive him nuts.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. So the wall came down.
I don't like it.
Overnight. Well, this is what I was about to ask.
I want the wall back.
Oh, we've got Pauline Hanson in the podcast.
I want
I was about to ask, is this a good thing or bad thing? And since you've already
I don't
started,
like it.
All right, tell me about it. Tell me why.
I just think, like, now they're all one group, one happy little group, all, they've got a nice other new bedroom. Like, they needed to have that wall still up so that those because I'm telling you, whoever's in that halfway house starts to go a little bit nutty.
Yeah. You wanted the wall gone last week. You were all for it.
I know, now I want it back.
Yeah, well,
That's all right. You can do that.
And the risk is sounding like Matt here. That's she is female, and the prerogative to change her mind.
Yeah, I'm a woman. I can do that.
No, I totally agree with you, Mrs. Odie, and I like the wall. I like what it did to the house. I like the fact that we saw people bond in the halfway house from being nominated and hate the people that had everything, and it's disappointing that it's gone.
Well, the way I look at it is when it was first introduced, I hated the wall because I wanted to see sort of the relationships evolve really early, and I thought the wall kind of prevented that. But I think they got it the wrong way around. The best way would have been to not have the wall, and then once maybe whatever week it is now, everyone's kind of become friends, then put the wall in and create that divide. And I think they've just mucked it up, yeah.
Actually, Banana, I think you're onto a thing there. I seriously think that would have been a better idea.
I'm going to disagree. I think the wall created unnatural cliques. I think people were forced into relationships that they wouldn't have necessarily evolved on their own. And I think that has now caused this massive shift in the house. I think we're going to see, and we talked about the rock stars and the cool kids versus the misfits. The misfits bonded together because they had to. And you saw with the wall being there that you had to develop relationships that you probably wouldn't have done in the first place. I don't imagine that Xavier would have been best mates with the meatheads if he hadn't have been on the same side.
But imagine if the friendships were already formed and then the wall goes up. Imagine how much more peed off they'd be then.
That could be also.
It'd be like them tearing them apart.
Yeah, but those relationships that were formed in the halfway house were largely,
fake.
Largely fairly fake. So at least if people don't want to be fake now, they don't have to be. They don't have to talk to somebody they don't want to talk to. They can stick over in their own little cliques, and that's going to cause tension in itself. So I'm a fence sitter. I'm a wall sitter.
Get off the fence.
Oh, okay, that's enough about
Stop
the wall.
flying under the radar.
The walls are down, and it was a momentous moment in history. Look, I'm just going to throw this out here, and then I'm going to throw it over to you guys to comment. Jade loves Ed. Ed loves Ed. Tully loves Drew. Jade's jealous over Drew. Drew's trying to get over Jade. Drew likes Tully. Tully likes Matt. Jade likes massaging Matt. What is going on? Comments, please.
We've never ever seen, I mean, we've had relationships develop. We've never seen this level of jealousy from people within the house before. I said it last week. Last year, Layla kissed everybody in the house and had 2 boyfriends. Everyone was kissing everyone. Hormones were going crazy. This year, you've got the same thing, but everyone's so restrained because they're worried about pissing people off. Jade loves to flirt, and I think I, for once, probably ever agreed wholeheartedly with Tully the other night when she said she's developed all her relationships based on flirting. She's used to flirting with guys, she's used to flirting with girls, and it doesn't work with a lot of girls, and it hasn't worked with the girls in there. The crazy thing that's going on in there, I don't know. Ed, to me, still is getting off scot-free for being a bit of a jerk about the whole situation, which is fine. I don't have any problem with it, and Ed can do whatever he likes.
Ed is dead.
He hasn't handled it very well, and he's sort of gone back to being a bit dull now and sitting in his corner and doing nothing. But if he didn't want to pursue anything with Jade, he should have made that very clear from the start. It looks as though he's, had a little bit of a taste of it and gone, not interested anymore. And now Jade, for whatever reason, looks really stupid because she's sort of banding between the two. I don't know. I think
she had really bad breath when he kissed her. And it just turned him off.
I reckon he was probably looking just a little bit south of her mouth when he thought of it. The big one that you've got to bring up for all of this is Tully not a ladies' lady? What?
She's got to be bi, Fenton.
The special cuddles with Drew and Beth the other night I said to my wife when we were sitting on the couch, I said, her girlfriend's sitting at home watching this. If I was sitting here watching my wife do that with, it's a totally different situation because obviously my wife is into blokes, but
yeah. But if you do it with a woman, you'd be going, all right.
I wouldn't be. Fair point. It didn't look good, and I don't imagine that her partner would have been terribly thrilled about it. But I don't know. The whole thing is far too complex. I need some sort of a Gantt chart to keep track of the whole thing. It's all just gone insane.
Yeah. Look, I'm very confused by the whole thing. I mean, I'm forgetting who they're with and who they like and who's, flirting with who. But at the end of the day, I think Tully's doing it to get to Jade. Because Tully knows that Jade does like Drew. Oh. And I think when they're cuddling up in bed together, those couple of nights that Tully was patting his hair and they were spooning and that.
Jade was in the halfway house for one of those.
Yeah, so but she would know that someone else in that room would tell her what they're doing.
I think you're right to some degree. I think I raised in the first week that Tully struck me as a sort of girl that is going to get very lonely and very emotionally dependent on someone in the house. That's true.
And hold grudges. I think she's got to hold grudges, like Heidi.
And because she needs the emotional comfort, that manifests itself in physical contact with someone. So she's just touchy-feely and cuddly with them.
Yeah.
I think if she's in there for a few more weeks, she'd probably wind up going the full passion. God knows what with Drew. But Nana, what do you make of the crazy love hexagonal that we've got going on in there?
To be honest, I've got no explanation, but I love it. I love watching it. It's
good to watch.
It's good viewing, and I love to hate Tully and keep it going until she's evicted. Sorry.
Now, during the week, we had a yes/no task. We had that last year, and I was fearful of, they're going to ask Tim to cut his hair or something like that, like they tried to do to Paul Michael last year.
Wasn't it George?
Yeah, it was George.
Was it George? Was it? I thought they asked Michael too.
I think they might have actually asked both of them, didn't they? Oh. Anyway.
Now, the highlights for me, and feel free to jump in if I've missed any, but Katie and Lucy getting a spray tan.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty funny.
Times 5.
That was funny.
And so positive about it. We love that fake tan.
Yes, Big Brother.
They did. They were champions. They did really well.
Did one of them turn green?
Yeah, and you know why? Can I tell you why? Because you only go green with a spray tan if you've got moisturiser or deodorant on or perfume on. So that's why they say if you're going to have a spray tan, don't have any deodorant, no moisturiser on your body. Otherwise, you'll go nice green colour.
You guys didn't know that, did you?
No, that's why none of my fake tans have ever gone green. I always go natural.
Yeah.
on the money.
See, I was expecting you guys to offer that up and to come prepared next time. Ed eating bananas.
Oh, that was...
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. That was terrible to watch, and I guess I don't have a banana phobia, and
Who doesn't like a nanny?
Well, I guess people don't like various foods, but that seemed a little bit over the top to me.
Me, I've got my hand up. I eat bananas because I know they're good for you, and playing footy, it's a good recovery food and all the rest of it. The texture of them, horrible.
I don't like the stringy bits.
So look,
on a banana.
Your name has been besmirched here, Fresh Banana. What are you about to say for yourself?
Yeah, look, I actually really enjoyed it, even though it was quite gross. It was just weird to see, like, such a reaction to something so normal, and it was just really weird to watch, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought you did a pretty good job as well.
Sure.
I sympathise with that. I'll be honest. I've done a couple of decent distance triathlons, and bananas are a really good energy food for that. Dry mouth on a bike trying to smash down a banana. I've thrown one up before. The texture of them is horrible. It's a horrible food. I'm totally on my own here. Let's just move on because I sound like a total...
The only thing I agree with there is the stringy bits that come off the skin. I don't like that.
I think it's really well because I wouldn't have struggled to put down 6 bananas, especially add water and all the rest of it with him, but they're not nice. An irrational fear of them is a bit weird, but he did well. He did very well.
And we also had another eating task from Michaela, Jazz and Tahan having to eat hot dogs after having a big breakfast.
I don't know how they ate that many.
Michaela, she ate it.
She's a machine, that girl.
The girl with the body issues can put the food away.
Jeez.
Michaela looked like she was in a natural element.
Did she?
Tahan did really well in that, which was a surprise.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
And Ben probably had the easiest challenge, just having to not go and give his mum a hug in the diary room.
No, that was sad.
And he's struggled a little bit with it, but he came through. And in the end, there was enough green balls in there, and they won the challenge. Yay!
Well, you're not going to ignore the elephant in the room, the big rainbow-coloured elephant in the room, are you, Eddie?
Oh, I probably am. I probably haven't even taken the note. That's why I said jump in there.
Caleb and Matt. That was Caleb's dream come true, getting a pat.
Oh, yes!
He loved it.
They missed the ball and they touched mouths.
Oh, see, I reckon Matt was probably on the money with just about getting the ball. I reckon Caleb, if he had his chance, would have thrown the wind machine out of the way and just started making out with him.
I reckon that too. I reckon Caleb is a bit like that.
He had the biggest smile on his face. It was hilarious, but I think Caleb enjoyed it a lot.
Well, they're brothers. I mean, if you can't kiss your brother, and I'll just leave it right there. Oh, okay. One of the best things of the week. And guess which housemate involved again? Tim pulled a prank whereby...
best ever.
He said it was his birthday.
God, I love that man.
He let Drew in on it. Drew was aware and kept the secret for him and let Tim play it out. He asked to have the gym to himself for 30 minutes. Got people to give him pony rides around the pool.
Oh, I loved that, the pony rides.
And he had the housemates all dressed up as rockers, complete with glam rock makeup.
And Drew wore lipstick. No,
Ed was lipstick, yeah.
And they all performed air guitar before Tim finally came clean.
It's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
And
oh my God.
people were a bit upset they weren't getting cake or lollies, and the boys had a bit of a sook about not trusting Tim anymore, and
I love Tim.
And Tully went into full on
bitch mode.
You're sleeping on the couch wife mode on Drew.
Oh my God, that's so obsessive and possessive.
And Drew came out with a fantastic line, "What am I, a boyfriend?" Look, guys, who wants to go first on this one? Jump in there.
Look, this was a case of Tim being about 3% away from being an evil genius. If he had have had a better exit plan and pulled it off, it would have been absolutely hilarious. But he had no party lined up, he had no food lined up, and he was always going to get busted eventually. But I guess, like a little kid in a candy store, he saw something that he wanted to have and he couldn't control himself. But it was hilarious.
Tim, you started this.
You can get yourself out of it, mate.
There's no party food coming from Big Brother.
Well, he gets to do what he wants now and he takes the punishment later. So.
God, I love that man. Tim is just unreal.
It was hilarious, and I think the other thing that we saw was that most of the house, with the exception of probably Tully, responded to it pretty well. I think straight away Matt went up and shook his hand and was like, well done, you've got us a beauty, and now it looks like they're probably going to try and play pranks back on him, but it was hilarious. That's the sort of stuff that you need in a house. It was a big week anyway, and you chuck that one in and it becomes probably one of the best weeks of Big Brother of all time. So
of all time, I totally agree. That's what they need to do in there, is do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what it's all about.
Having said that, Tim is pretty much guaranteed to get nominated every week for the
He's going to go from zero to 100 in no time.
Do you know what? The Australian public love him that much that he's not going to go.
No,
Yeah, I think it was well, you say, that's what they have to do, every day, but I think Big Brother did it really well by picking Tim, because it's just so natural to him to just do that stupid shit, and it's just great to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, they did really well when they decided to put his character, someone like him, into the house.
Yeah, and the response from everyone else was really good. I guess the other one that you got to flow into from that was Tully. For whatever reason, she felt like she was entitled to be told about that when only Drew was. And let's be honest, Tim and Drew are BFFs, not in the Caleb Matt way, because that's a bit creepy, but just in a general way that they get along very well. They enjoy pranking each other and having a bit of fun with the rest of their housemates. Tully's response, that girl's insane. I love her. She's great to watch. Car crash television at its finest. And her response to Drew, who owes her nothing, has known her for, how long have they been there now? 4 weeks? Oh.
Yeah, Phantom, I get it. Like, I get the fact that she's exciting in the house, but I am so sick and tired of her tears.
You like to hate her.
Seriously, I'm over it. Totally over it. Exciting or not, she's just annoying.
I guess on the plus side, this time she didn't cry. She just sulked.
God. Yeah, but I don't know what's worse. Sulking or tears. I don't know what's worse for me.
I was just Drew went in the bathroom. He went in the bathroom again to see if she was okay. He keeps on asking her if she's okay, and she's giving him the brush off. And I'm just saying to Drew, stop asking. You're doing yourself damage. She's going to drag you down with her.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing is that she's got the attention span of a goldfish with a concussion. She'll be pissed off at him. But then you can pretty much guarantee that by tomorrow something else will have upset her and she'll be back all over Drew.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to worry about it. He'll get off scot-free, because tomorrow Tahan will say, oh, those pants aren't very flattering on you, and she'll go and have a cry about it, and Tahan will be at worse than you. So he's just got to let it go. I think that's probably the thing that Drew's doing that's letting him down a little bit. He's a little bit too, I don't know if it's caring, but he's a little bit too worried what everyone thinks of him in the house.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, actually.
He doesn't care at all, whereas Drew, wants to make sure that Jay gets her cuddles on the other side of the fence and wants to make sure that Tully feels like she's involved, and he's got to just sort of let it go a little bit, mate.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, actually.
Absolutely.
That's dead right on the money, that.
Was there anything else that happened during the week that you guys want to raise?
I thought the family, is it, what do you call it, the family dinner challenge that Drew and Tim did?
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, they saw boobies.
Yeah, and they brought in those chicks as a blindfold. I thought that was great by Big Brother.
The girl ninjas.
Yeah.
It was interesting watching them, I guess, rationale that to everybody else. To themselves, when that stuff was coming in and they had the opportunity to get the footy and the beer, they were always going to take it. But then they're sitting there going, so I don't even like mussels. What do we want mussels for?
I know, and they gave away the prawns. God, I want to give away the prawns.
No, but it was just funny watching them do that, because you knew that they were always going to take it for themselves, and good on them, so they should. But then they got to walk out at the end of it still with a decent meal for them. So we won the challenge. We didn't even have to give anything up.
If it wasn't for Caleb, they would have walked away, probably better than what they would have got with, yeah.
Is it fair to say, given that this is a footy forum, you never check side of footy when you're near a fence? That's true.
Yes. Who did that, Phantom? Was it Caleb?
Caleb. 5 minutes in.
Stick to flipping leggies, mate. You're no good at footy, that's for sure.
I know.
On your Shane. Bold Shane. Yeah, look. Oh, anything else?
I don't think I've got anything. It was a big week. So much happened, and everyone sort of, it was good. I think the one thing that's been raised by Tim and a few other people is the walls come down. Everyone's happy families at the moment. Won't last.
No, it won't last.
Cliques will develop and there'll be divides and people will start. I think now that the wall's down and you're not going to be, I guess, as isolated with a smaller amount of people, those cliques will become, I guess, to the point where you're going to see people sort of sitting in different corners of the house talking. You know, Jasmine and Tully, I think, are good mates now, and they'll probably be off, you know, talking in a corner, and, you know, Matt and Caleb will be in another corner, and it's going to create that, which is going to create a lot of tension and conflict, which would be good.
Exactly.
Well, I feel like there's a lot less housemate chemistry this year than it was last year.
In terms of an overall group?
Yeah. Like, there are a lot more little groups and they're a bit more snarky to each other, like calling each other, okay, these are, you know, the hot chicks, these are, you know, the meatheads and misfits, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know the housemates last year, they all sort of still talk to each other. They're all really friendly. And even at the finale last year, they were all, you know, really like all lovey-dovey to one another. But this year, I've got a feeling that they're not all going to be like that with each other. There's going to be ones that get evicted that are just not going to like the others that are left in the house, and there's going to be a lot of kind of sort of resentment and stuff I'm feeling.
The other one is that I watch the show sort of, you know, a bit voyeuristically, but also like to watch it and think about what it's going to look like to these guys when they watch it back. And there's been a lot of moments this year in Big Brother where I've gone, ooh, so-and-so. Hearing that back, you know, watch the television. Tim said some pretty nasty stuff about a few people, which I think most people will write off as just being Tim, but, you know, Tully, Tahan, some of the stuff Tahan said about, you know, the Sugar Sisters and others behind their backs especially. Even the boys, you know, you don't normally see Ed and most boys in general going off bitching, but they had a good old bitch about Tim the other day. There's been a lot of moments that when people watch it back, they're going to go, oh, I really like that person. And I didn't realise they thought that about me. On another note, one that I'd totally forgotten about, they were all sharing stories the other night about their most embarrassing situations. Does everyone remember Caleb's story?
About the sea which got dressed up as something like this.
Dressed up as a star.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Party, that was hilarious. What a fool. No surprise for Caleb, let's be honest.
That was fantastic. Sea party. Oh, that was brilliant.
That was funny.
What
about Ben's poor Ben?
About the guy, the telemarketer thought he was a woman.
Yeah, they thought he was a woman.
Yeah. All right. Okay, look. Our tips for this week, as far as who's going home. Nominated, we have Ben, Michaela, Jasmine, Tahan, the Sugar Sisters, and Matt. Now, Fresh Banana, you haven't been in on this, but we are running a very, very serious tipping competition here. We're all sitting on 2 out of 3 as we speak, and there's a lot of tension in the air. I don't know if you've noticed it over the podcast, but we all pretty much hate each other right now. It's the rivalry is fierce, but so we need to get this one right. But we'll let you in this week, and you can give us your tip as well. Fresh Banana, who do you think is going home?
I'd have to pick Jazz. She only got less than 10% votes in the first week. And since then, I don't think she's really stamped her case to be worthy to be in the house, so I don't see her staying any longer.
Yeah. Phantom.
Oh,
I know.
For me, it's got to be between Michaela and Jasmine. And the only reason that I'd probably agree with Fresh Banana to some degree, but I think since the first week, Jasmine's come out of her shell a lot, showed us a lot of different sides to her, and she's been a bit bitchy. She put Tim back in his place this week as well. I'm gonna go with Michaela. I think Michaela's got to go. I don't think she's adding a whole lot to the house, and frankly, I want to see Mr. Clooney open up a bit, do a bit more. I think if Michaela's not there, Mr. Clooney might just start running the show.
He's lucky he wasn't even there this week.
Yeah, lucky Michaela for me, mate. That's who I'm gonna go for.
Will do. Mrs. ODM.
You're not gonna believe who I'm gonna pick to go. You're all going to think I'm a yes, but I don't think I'm going to be.
I hope it's somebody that's nominated.
Yeah, it is, but I've got a good reasoning why I think that this person's going to go.
Okay. Because
of the way they carried on and the way they backstabbed and the way that they...
That narrows it down.
No! No! You're not going to do this to me, are you, Mrs. Odian? Don't do it, please.
Go.
Tahan.
No!
Yeah. Yeah. I've got this gut-wrenching feeling she's going to go. And when I was on Big Brother, you know, like the official website and stuff, there's a lot of people saying, like, Tahan, like, how do you spell her name?
Tahan.
I'm just going to call it T. Because I can never pronounce her name correctly. So
that's going to get a bit confusing with Tim in the house as well.
Yeah,
but
T can stand for lots of things.
I'm not kidding. I've got a gut feeling she's going to go because of what she did to the Sugar Sisters.
But people
don't like that kind of behaviour.
She looks so good in a bikini.
I know, but I just think she's gone, Doug. I honestly think she's gone. It'll be a very close call between Michaela and her, but I think she's going to go. That's my tip.
Well, in the bikini, what about the backless dress and the arch of the back and stuff like that?
Oh, yes.
And you know the saddest part is I actually grew to really like her. I grew to like her.
What about her form kicking a footy and playing cricket? I was in love.
Oh, were you? Oh, God, don't let your wife hear you say that.
Wow, so we've got 3 different tips here.
Yeah.
Okay. Look.
But I love you all for not saying Ben.
I think Ben's... No, I don't. I was in a real bit of a quandary. I'm thankful that Jade saved herself because I couldn't decide between Jasmine, Jade, Michaela and the Sugar Sisters. Now, I had reasons for each of them. Sugar Sisters still feel a little bit like intruders as latecomers. And, we know Rohan went straight away. And generally, the ones that are added to the dynamic after they get to know each other sort of do tend to go quicker. I don't see that they've done anything wrong. But it's not a vote for evict, it's a vote for save. So I'm just not sure what they offered. Michaela, I had an impression that she had a bit of support out there, but that support surely is eroding. Hand over fist. I reckon that support is dissolving very, very quickly, and I don't see why people would vote to save her. Look, I think Jasmine, I'm going back, I kind of agree with Banana here insofar as Jasmine only got 5% of the save votes and during the first eviction, just missed out on going when Sharon went home. She got 4%. She did have a good week after that where I thought she's really showing something, but I thought she regressed this week. She did turn a little bit two-faced and a little bit bitchy. And she wasn't, from what we have seen, she wasn't as fun and frisky. I'm going to go Jasmine.
I think it's fair to say, given the debate that we've had and even just thinking about it holistically, it's a wide open race this week.
Oh,
it is. But before we finish up, I've got one more thing to say. Please, anybody, I stress this, anybody out there that is going to listen to this podcast, please save Ben. Call 1902 559551 to vote. You can SMS Ben, B-E-N, to 1995599 to vote. Please, I'm begging you. Please save Ben.
What has happened? What just happened?
What? I don't know.
This is a painful political statement, Mrs. O'Neill.
Facebook voting closes 7:23 Australian Eastern Standard Time on the 26th of August. Please save Ben.
Jeez, that was a lot. You know what?
Thank you.
That was an awful lot of talking for the 5 listeners we have.
No, excuse me. Didn't you see how many hits we had last week? 56 people. That's on our last podcast. Thank you very much.
Our journalistic integrity's just been shot to pieces.
Oh, come on, please. Anybody that's listening, I'm begging you.
So, Phantom, did you want reciprocal rights? What's Tahan's number?
I wouldn't have a clue, but vote for Tahan. Keep her in. All the red-blooded males out there, we need that.
Same phone number, except he's just got another number in front of it.
In that case, vote for Tahan. 1-900. I don't remember what it was. I can't believe you remembered that. That's
1-900 hot bikini. There you go.
1-900 hot bikini.
Oh, yeah.
Yellow bikini.
I just have to apologise, guys, because I just lost control of the podcast.
Well, don't you worry, because when Tim's nominated his up, I'll be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I mean,
You got to save your favourites.
so much for impartiality. Anyway.
Our non-partisan little show just got shot to pieces.
Oh, come on, guys. That was funny.
It was pretty funny.
Thank you.
Hear that.
Uh-huh.
Alright, that's it for another week, guys.
What a great podcast it's been, I have to say.
Oh, it was pretty snappy too.
It's always great with Phantom and Banana. It's been great having you.
I've just got a text actually. I've just got a text from Ben's mum. She's now sponsoring the podcast. She's shipped in a bit of money for us, so that's good. That's a good result. Well done, Mrs. Adian.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so good.
Marketing's working. All right, look, we'll sign off for now, and I'll say thank you, Mrs. Adian.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Phantom.
Thank you, mate. You did a pretty good job of shoring up a very, very unstable ship there for a few minutes.
I don't know that I did, but I thank you for the compliment.
Oh my God.
And thank you very much to Fresh Banana for coming on. It was great having another voice there and some fresh bananas and fresh opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
On debut, performed very nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you come back.
And to everybody who might be listening and getting our hits up out
Remember,
there.
save Ben.
Oh, shit. We hope you join us again next week.
And save Ben.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you guys.
You got a new girlfriend, but I still love you. I can't stand the thought of her having a piece of you. But she got that hard on, but she do the